All right, everybody. Thanks for having me as well. I don't know where Ken is, but thanks, Ken. We love you. I'm like most of you guys, I think, I met Ken in 2016 at a Bitcoin event, smoking weed before we got into the event. So that's pretty much how it works at Bitcoin events. I'm a YouTuber. I'm from Brazil. I create content in Portuguese, and you can go ahead and put on the next slide. In 2018, I live here in the US, but I took a trip to Venezuela, and I shot a documentary called Venezuela and the Cryptocurrency Revolution, where I spent 1 week there paying everything with Dash. At the time, their Dash was widely used, still is, and I documented that. In 2018, I also shot a second documentary in Colombia. You can go to the next slide, please. So this is actually a few shots of the documentary in Venezuela. I'm actually holding here about 25 cents. At the time, $1 was worth 2.8 million bolivars. That stack of money actually is not worth anything anymore. They switched to Bolivar Soberano. It's a new currency. Brazil did that 7 times in 15 years. Basically, the government comes and say, starting tomorrow, there's a new money, new paper, new colorful, and we're cutting 3 zeros, and if you make 100, now you're making 1. And happened 7 times. So this is actually a shot of the taxi. If I had to pay with cash, we gotta pay that amount of money, and we ended up paying with the crypto at the time. You can go to the next slide. And then in 2018, I also went to Colombia, shot the second part of the documentary showing the Venezuelan migrants that were sending money back home using crypto as well. And there was a few communities there sponsored by the treasury of Dash, a DAO, where they were going door to door teaching merchants how to accept, download a wallet, accept crypto, send and receive. And then, next slide please. And then in 2019, I was invited by the Switzerland embassy in Brazil to follow a group of Brazilians that went to Switzerland, to Crypto Valley, where the government over there is basically saying, come over here. If you have a startup, a blockchain, a crypto company, we gotta give you all the tools, the lawyers, incubators, accelerators. And I shot the 3rd episode where I ended up interviewing a bunch of government officials, lawyers. This guy here, Thomas Linder, anybody knows him? He's the lawyer who did the most successful ICO ever, Ethereum. And he tells the story when Charles Hodgson and Vitalik walked into his office in 2013 talking about blockchain. And he was like, I think those guys are crazy. I didn't understand shit, but I think they have a product. So he ended up designing the whole legal aspect of Ethereum to be the most successful ICO ever. And now in 2021, last year, in November, I was in El Salvador, and I shot the 4th episode of the series, where I ended up interviewing, I think I have one more slide there. If you can go ahead, where I ended up interviewing, actually no, that was the last one. So I ended up interviewing the congressman who made the bill of Bitcoin, 2 congressmen and the ambassador of El Salvador in the US. And the documentary actually goes live tonight at 7 p.m. It's now 20 minutes long, but I have a half-an-hour clip here for you guys to watch a little bit. An interesting part is that in 2019, the 3rd documentary, I asked the question in the documentary, who's going to be the first president to actually bring Bitcoin to a conversation? This was back in 2019, and we all know what happened now in El Salvador. So you can actually go ahead and play the video. The video is about 25 minutes long. It's only a few parts of the documentary, and then I'll be back here for 5 minutes for some questions after, okay? Thank you, guys.
Money and state. Is this fight against governments or against the banks?
It's better if you copy the documentary you gotta copy to the desktop, because if you play from that, it's gonna freeze.
I see, gotcha.
Sorry, we gotta copy to the desktop here, guys, otherwise it's gonna freeze. But if you guys wanna do questions, while I'll choose a copy and paste. Okay, if anybody have any questions, but yeah, so those 3 documentaries are on YouTube. They've been actually, the first one, the one in Venezuela, has been translated to 7 different languages. It's in Russian, Spanish, a couple other YouTube channels as well took the documentary and play on their channel. Yes, go ahead.
Just curious,
Sorry? Cryptocurrencies, well, in the case of Venezuela in 2018, there was a few members of the community who learned what a DAO is. Basically, you can request funds from the treasury, and they started organizing meetings and meetups, teaching people what is Dash, how to download a wallet, how to start and receive, and that was, it just exploded. 2018, Venezuela had some massive protests. There was a lot of people getting hurt and on the streets as well. And the hyperinflation was taking over. The official number for $1 by the government was 2.8 million bolivar, but it was on the streets, $1 was worth more than 5 million bolivars. And for you to have an idea, back in 2018, a middle class salary in Venezuela was about $3.50 for a family, like an income of for four.
I think that the status quo is not ready for this change, for the cryptocurrency. And being the first country to implement a law, a Bitcoin law, that aims economic freedom is not easy. It's not easy because the traditional banking network, it's, against this revolution. So, on behalf of the government of President Bukele, I can say that it's not easy, but, we have something. We have the vision. And we know this is the best for our people. That's why we're working on this, and President Bukele is very enthusiastic to change their lives.
So guys, that's just for you guys to have an idea, but it's actually very interesting to see the ambassador of a country saying that the change is so big that not a lot of people are prepared. And a few interesting things as well, as one of the interviews said, Bitcoin should be a volunteer action, and now we're seeing the head of state trying to implement Bitcoin, which kind of goes against the principles of Bitcoin in a way. It should be accepted because people want to, but from the beginning, even on the wallet commercial that the government had it on TV, they said it's an option. If you would like to start using Bitcoin, you can, but also we're gonna be using a fiat. And some information about El Salvador, interesting fact, 7 out of 10 people never had a bank account in El Salvador. So this is a huge, massive number. Can you imagine? 7 out of 10 people never use a bank app or a wallet. And overnight, they managed to have 3 million people downloading the government wallets. And the president was on television, just like any other YouTuber, showing people how to download a wallet, how to make a backup, how to send and receive Bitcoin. So the documentary is actually going to go live tonight at 7 p.m. It's an hour and 20 minutes long. It has a whole segment about the volcano mining operations, where they're going to be using energy from thermal energy from a volcano to start mining Bitcoin. There's also a segment called Bitcoin bonds, how the government's going to be selling treasuries. So anybody here can buy treasuries from the government of El Salvador and pay with Bitcoin. I'm sure tomorrow they're going to make massive announcements because the president of El Salvador will be at Bitcoin 2022 talking about this. And there's also the segment about Bitcoin City, which is a whole city they're going to build using this Bitcoin money that they're selling treasures. So the document is going to be live tonight at 7, and the name is El Salvador and the Cryptocurrency Revolution. Thanks, guys, and sorry about all the confusion with the file. Thank you.